Chris, where are you, Chris? I feel like I haven't seen you in, I don't know, about 2 minutes. Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, shit, I'm sorry. I must have lost you for the last, 4 months?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how long we've been on a hiatus.
Yeah, we'll call it a hiatus. For those that you have never seen us, welcome to the PHG Podcast. PHG is for Purple Heart Gaming. If you are watching this on YouTube, you will see that we have a new background added to the PHG Podcast. This picture, it is. I don't think I've even told you this yet, Chris.
No, this is news.
So it's one of our old PHG pictures, the come and take it with the transparent logo with the star.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah. So we're going to use that as the background today. I kind of like that better than...
Yeah, that works.
It's nice having a logo on our screen that doesn't completely just fucking cut off at the top halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but welcome to the Purple Heart Gaming Podcast, PHG.
Welcome.
For those that don't know, my name is Giants or Colonel Morrison, and we have over here Sheriff Chris. How you doing today, Chris?
Yep. I'm good. How about yourself, brother?
I'm good. A lot has changed in the last 4 months?
Yeah. 4 months. Yeah. So, we were in the middle of recording. We said, hey, we'll see you next week. And all of a sudden, it's almost like we're a canceled episode of a Fox series.
That was actually pretty good. Couple things to update on. First of all, the big one, kind of part of the reason why we stopped was just because of how it kind of hit me, was the agency that I was going through. I ended up getting DQ'd towards the end of the process and kind of got a little, we'll say, broken about it.
Load up bullshit is what I'll say on that one.
Yeah, we're not going to go into too much detail on that, but that's okay because I'm currently in backgrounds for a new agency and I feel good about this one.
He is, and I think you got it. I feel better about this one than I did the last one, and that's experience talking to you.
Well, I do too, so only time is going to tell with that. I do know, and obviously you know too, they've been contacting my references for a hot minute now.
They have been. So, they have been like a hot prom date, I'm telling you.
I know. So I want to know a lot about me. It's like...
so I guess we'll also discuss that you're back on the market. Is that right?
Yep, back on the market. We broke up, but it was very, very respectful, really cordial. I mean, we're still friends. We still talk at least a couple times a week.
Yeah, I mean, you guys just went to dinner not long back.
Yeah, went a couple days ago. She went with me to go to the bookstore. I bought some books, and we can talk more about that later. I know, exciting, but...
Who knew you were a reader?
I'm a lot of things, and you know that, Chris. Italian Stallion #1, reader #2.
You took my words out of my mouth there.
Great minds think alike. But in all seriousness, no, it was easily one of the healthiest breakups I think I ever had, which is great.
Yeah, I gotta admit that that really shocked me because I very rarely, maybe once or twice in my entire 30-something years of life, I've ever seen that.
Yeah, I mean...
I had a bad feeling about it. I mean, like, just be honest, and maybe that was just because of my past experience. Like, everybody says, oh, we're going to be friends after. Bullshit.
And I agree with you. Usually that is bullshit, but it was nice in the sense that we both kind of agreed that we still have feelings, like, friendship type feelings.
But
we still care about each other. Yeah.
It just was not meant to be. And you guys were on going in two different directions in life. That's what I saw it about. And, I think she listens to the podcast and probably will listen to this episode. She's a great lady. I mean, and I know you have the same feeling towards her, but hope she finds what she's looking for, and same for you,
I know. I'll match her up with a single guy if I find one. I mean,
are you the Italian Stallion wannabe? No. The Wish.com version? No.
Oh, the Temu version. That's what my ex-wife did. That's what my ex-wife did. She cheated.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, she cheated on me to find the Temu version of me, but...
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that did happen. That one we can testify to.
But it's like... I'm glad. I mean, we were introduced into each other's life for a reason, and we both understood that it's not for romantic reasons. And that's okay. But we still talk, we still hang out. she's still a good friend, and I'm happy to say, especially after the last I'd consider her a decently serious relationship. I met her parents, so I met her sister.
Yeah, I think it's pretty decent.
So
pretty decent.
I think that it was nice going on the other side of that, and
versus what you normally, see. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, especially with the fucking heartbreak of that divorce. I mean, I'm not afraid to say it. That fucked me up for a hot minute. And
that it did. I mean, of course, what you got thrown would F up anybody. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but it's nice in the sense that I can see now that I've been on both sides of basically all of it, it's really helped me understand what I'm looking for. I don't feel the need to compromise anymore because I feel like I need to find someone, because I want kids, I want a wife, and I want someone to spend the rest of my life with. Yes, that's all still true, and I'm willing to put myself out there and do it again. But I'm not rushing myself anymore like I was before, in the sense of, let's just keep hunting and try to find something and nothing good coming out of it. And I can say firsthand that I am more comfortable now being single than I think I've ever been in my life before.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I mean, that comes from a lot of different things. We'll get more into depth in the project that I'm going to be working on.
Yep.
But
sure.
It's been real. It's been real nice, and I feel refreshed in a lot of different ways. I definitely have the mental clarity to kind of just work on myself and do what I need to do for myself, which is including going to this new agency and doing what I need to do for them to do what I want to do with the rest of my life, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'd say you're definitely more comfortable than you've ever been with that.
Yeah, I'm more comfortable with a lot of different things lately. I started going to the doctors again and taking medicine that I know that I've been needing to take for God knows how long. And it's almost like that. And I know it's not supposed to be that quick of a turnaround, but I feel like taking this medication, but for those that don't know, I have hypothyroidism. I don't really talk much about
Not contagious penis disease like a lot of people think.
Yeah, contagious penis disease. That's just a myth, unless it's AIDS. But but no, I'm hypo, and one of the things with that is your thyroid. For those that you don't know, it controls a lot. It controls your hormones. I'm sure controls it controls testosterone. It controls a whole lot of other
of different things with that.
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense now that I'm taking it again. I feel better, and honestly, hindsight being 2020, I still think it's probably for the best that I wasn't, because I think that's the explanation for why I never knocked up my ex-wife.
I think it was too, to be honest with you, after all said and done. Yeah.
And in hindsight again, that is a really good thing, because
yeah.
Number one, I don't want to bring kids into this world that I'm going to have to co-parent with somebody. I want them to have a mother and a father living in the same house. That's one of my...
and co-parenting with that one would have been like co-parenting with a Tasmanian devil.
It would have been like fucking hugging a taser.
Pretty much.
I don't want, regardless, even like, I know me and my most recent ex, whose name I'm not going to say, but my most recent ex, we'll call her, shit, I don't know. Give me a fake name, Chris.
Cindy.
We'll call her Cindy. Okay. As much as I care for Sydney, I don't want a co-parent, that's not, and I could.
That's not how you want to roll.
Yeah. And I could.
Absolutely. With that one, you could. Yeah. I agree.
She would she would be very,
that would be an easy co-parenting situation, but that's not the avenue you're trying to take.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like flinging dick as much as the next guy. And I like flinging dick as much as the next guy, but I want. Why is that so funny to you?
Again, we get into this a lot with the podcast. The terms that come up, I just never understand them. And usually you're the ones that generate them. Every once in a while I get an edge in on one. Flinging dick. Not throwing it, not putting it down.
Slinging dick, yeah, or flinging dick. I guess they're both interchangeable. But I like flinging dick as much as the next guy. Don't get me wrong, but I also, at this point in my life, I've had sex with. I'm not going to go too into detail how many people, but enough people.
Yeah. At this point, you've at least got your intermediate badge on.
Yeah, I'd say intermediate's probably a good fucking badge. I'm not no man whore by any means, but
no, you're not.
I've been around the block a time or two, and I've realized recently, having sex with somebody that you are in love with, the emotional state of that is so much better than than I'm just going to come on your back.
Casual hookup, yeah.
Or in my case, spit on their back, come inside them, and say I finished on their back. But I'm kidding. But
you have the right to remain a man whore.
I am not a man whore. Okay.
In your own head, but that's where it counts.
My body count is in single digits, sir. Thank you.
This is true. So I guess other topics. Let's see what else we got going on. I guess we need to cover the fact that we've had a pretty bad tragedy across on the eastern side of the United States with the bridge collapse this morning.
Yeah, in Maryland, a giant container vessel crashed into a bridge. From what I've read, and I haven't read much about it, but from what
I know a lot.
You do? Okay, so from what I know though so far, it appears it almost, and they're ruling out terrorism, but it looks
that's already been ruled out.
It almost seems like for you to hit that, you would have had to have some, if not intent, some incompetence or some sort of unnatural, like, you tell me, you know more. So what's happening here?
So what has came out is that prior to the crash, that the boat lost all power whatsoever. They put a mayday call out to the Coast Guard or whatever surrounding radio system they call for help for, and they had no control over the boat. They were attempting to try to regain power. They were trying to manually steer this thing, and that's just where they landed.
Okay, so it was just a very unfortunate circumstance as of right now.
Right. Nothing else has came out. Now, this is all subject to change because it's very early on in the investigation. Right now, they're saying at least, I think, 6 people are missing.
Yeah.
And presumed dead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're sitting, yeah.
I mean, the water was 30 degrees or below that. I mean, you're talking sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah.
And you're talking, deep water. There's only pockets of air so far in a vehicle when they crash in the water like that. It's very short periods. That's why they tell you have to exit the vehicle very quickly if you can. And, this sounds like a very unfortunate accident, and I don't know. I've been on this radar for over 35 years, basically at this point. And I don't recall a episode of a single bridge completely collapsing. I think we've had some partial collapses. I think we've had some hits on bridges where we've had pieces fall off. I don't ever remember the entire bridge falling.
Not recently. I know the St. Pete Bridge back in the 80s. Now that one I don't know if that one completely fell or most of it fell, like the major actual part of the bridge. Because if you've ever been to St. Pete, they have now the Skyway Bridge. And that thing is big, and that thing is actually designed to move with the wind. They'll close that bridge down. I believe it's over 30 miles an hour winds. They'll actually close the bridge down. But if you go on the Skyway Bridge to go from, Bradenton, I believe, Bradenton into St. Pete, you see some remaining parts of that bridge that's been turned into fishing docks. When we go, I'll
you'll have to point this out to me.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna hit the St. Pete Bridge or not, but I will.
I was about to ask that. Are we even getting near that?
We'll pass. Let's say there's the exit, and if it's not going to be more than like 15 minutes longer, I will 100% drive over the Skyway Bridge for you. It's just going to be a matter of the timing of it, and at that point, how it goes. What we're talking about also, by the way, my brother is 11 years old, and he is coming out to Tejas with me, and Chris is out here too.
That's right, yeah.
So we're going to go and we're going to fly out there, and then we're going to get a rental car, grab his shit, and
drive it back.
Drive it back, yeah. So
drive it back. Yep, that's the plan in a nutshell as it stands at this point in time. So,
that'll
fun
be
stuff.
fun. Yeah.
Fun stuff. Road trip is always fun, especially with your buddy.
Yeah, you're like me. You like driving. I mean,
I do. Now, I will tell you that I'm getting older, and that doesn't always play. But I've been air traveling a lot this year. You know that, and I won't say the name of the airline now. It's better than the obvious Greyhound in the sky. And when I say that, most people are going to understand what the hell I'm saying. Now, I've flown the Greyhound in the sky this year and last, and I had a couple of not bad experiences, but it wasn't my favorite. It's definitely not Southwest Airlines, but Southwest, I'm sorry if you're somewhere listening to this, lower your dang pricing so we can get on board at a decent rate. My God.
Yeah, I love flying Southwest, but they're just
too. I absolutely love Southwest. It's my favorite airline.
Yeah,
but I just can't afford it.
Yeah, it's nuts. They're like, some of the flights out there are like $200+ one round trip.
Yeah, one way.
Yeah,
one way.
Or sorry, one way. Why did I say round trip?
One way. Yeah. I'm trying to go to. My nieces are graduating this June, and like the cheapest flight I've got is like $400.
Yeah, that's
for them, and they're actually the leading ones on it, which is fine. That's great because it's usually not the case, but it's not economical when you're on a budget and you're trying to do more things and just fly.
I don't get it, man. I really don't. Just everything's getting so expensive now. It's a pain in the ass.
Started.
Yeah,
I mean, started. You and I have had several discussions about car insurance for crying out loud.
Oh, don't get me started on that because I need to figure out if I'm gonna switch or not. I mean,
no kidding, huh? Yeah, but so going back to the airline things, I actually was just on an airplane almost a week ago tomorrow.
Yeah, where'd you go?
Basically, Atlanta.
How was Atlanta, by the way?
Well, I didn't stay in Atlanta. I had plans to, but ended up in Tennessee where I have some friends. And, the flight in wasn't so bad. But I'll tell you the thing that kills me about the situational there that versus Texas is the fact that we don't allow riffraff at our airports like that. That wouldn't be tolerated. There was a lot of riffraff.
Okay, so
a lot of begging, a lot of homeless, a lot of things of that nature that we just don't allow. And I'm not used to that. I'm standing out waiting for my car to pick me up, and I'm getting asked for spare change. Like I'm at a national airport.
One of the busiest airports in the country, by the way. Atlanta is a hub for. I believe.
I'll get into that.
So they're a hub for FedEx, aren't they?
It's the main hub for Delta.
Who is it?
Delta.
Delta, that's it. Well, I also think
that's where they're out of.
I think FedEx is also out of there, if I remember correctly.
They are. FedEx has there. A lot of airports now, Frontiers, they're now have a hub there. I believe American has a hub there now. It's a huge airport. I think I told you this story when I came back. Obviously I flew in and I didn't know the process like I did leaving Texas. But when I got, obviously checked in to come back home, just to walk down, and I have pre-check, which you have it too, and it's a lifesaver.
If you don't have pre-check and you fly more than twice a year, get pre-check.
Get it.
Yes.
Get it. I'm telling you right now, it's worth it.
What is it? $75, $80 for 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. It's well worth it. You don't take your shoes off. You don't take none of your bags. Whatever, right? If you're going to fly more than what you think you are, get it because it's going to pay off in the long run. I'm telling you right now. When I flew out of Texas, I was in and out of security. I timed it literally a minute and a half.
What about Vegas? When we went to Vegas, both there and back, it was
quick. I didn't time it, but it was quick.
Yeah, it was. We got it.
Going back to it.
It was our license. We just had to give them our license, right? And show.
Yeah, our license, and that's all you do now. You don't. I've had I've flown out of Orlando pretty frequently, and Orlando's a different animal. Anybody that flies out of Orlando, I don't know why it's a different animal. That's probably the top experience that gives me the most anxiety now because, we just never know how they're going to do that day. So, because you're not supposed to have to take off your belt or anything like that if you're wearing one. And I've had cases where I've had to take off my belt and pre-check. It's kind of an unusual animal. So, out of the whole pre-check equation, leave Orlando out of it. Just,
okay.
Yeah, don't get me lying about that one. But most times, I literally point my ID in. It takes a fake facial recognition to make sure who you say you are. Boom, you're into security. I mean, it's that easy.
Oh yeah.
And because you, for people who don't know, you do fingerprints, you do your photograph, they do all kinds of document checks on you.
They do background checks.
Right. They do a known traveler number. It's a long number, and I'll never memorize mine. I don't know about you, but no. I have to look mine up all the time.
Yeah.
So going back to like I was talking about with Atlanta, just to get the pre-check was like a mile and a half down the terminal. It was crazy. And at the time that I got the pre-check, and I don't think I mentioned this to you. So right next to it when I first came in was regular security. They actually shut that security down. We're forcing people to the lower level security, which was seemed like another mile.
Well, that's just how airport security is, man. I mean, I'm telling you, pre-check was just, it has changed the way I fly.
No, it will. But yeah, so you're asking about the entirety of Atlanta. There is, I think it's 5 or 6, maybe 7 corridors. And it's not like you walk down a single highway, you jump on an elevator. No, there's actually like, in Vegas is like this too. I think you and I experienced this, but this is more predominantly, this is huge. You're actually taking like subway trains from each terminal. Yeah. And they do not connect like you would think. So luckily I got very lucky with both times. It was literally the terminal right out of security. So it was an experience. I got delayed twice. And you and I were discussing like texting back and forth like, hey, I'm delayed. And hey, I'm delayed again.
Yeah.
And there was no place to charge your phone. There was nothing. And then I think I told you this experience. I got on this flight, and I was sitting up front both times. And the flight attendant, I don't know what her issue was. And those who don't know, if you're not educated, that I had to educate myself on it. I just found out recently. Flight attendants do not get paid until the door closes for you to start taxiing.
Yep.
So if they're on the ground waiting on to pick you up, you're not getting paid. They're not getting paid.
They're not getting paid on a delay. They're not getting paid on. It
sucks.
It's bullshit.
And I feel for them. I think it is. I think it's an outdated policy.
Because especially for an extensive delay, if you're already on the plane, they're still serving drinks. They're still working.
Yeah, they are. And that's the thing is like, you know, like I've said, I think it's an outdated policy. But like I said, I don't know what this particular young lady's problem was. You know, the first thing that was a little off for me was the seats up front, you pay for. They're actually, you pay for everything on this flight. There's nothing free. It sounds like Southwest. But traditional airline where you pay for your stuff, they don't even give water. They give you a cup of ice if you're lucky. But I digress. The seats up front are a little extra because they're bigger. So I got fortunate. Somehow or another, I got that free. And still to this day, I don't know how.
You weren't slinging dick?
No. See, I can't do that. I'm married. So going back to the story at hand, this young lady, there's some people getting to the back of the flight. I was watching pretty close. It's kind of a people watching thing I do, especially when I fly. And I think there was a language barrier. I really do. I don't think these individuals spoke English or that well of English. And they were very confused about the process. They probably hadn't flown domestically or this particular airline before. And she literally gets on the intercom and says, everybody either find a seat or everybody's getting thrown off the plane. Just like that. Mind you, we've been delayed for nearly 2 hours. Of course, like everybody was like, nah, not happening. And then when we landed in Texas, you know, as you're taxiing back to the terminal from the runway, everybody takes off their dang seatbelt. You're doing like 2 miles an hour, right? Why are you wearing the seatbelt? We're not in the air.
Even though they say you don't, people still do.
Right. You're still not supposed to, whatever. Don't get me freaking off on some FAA rule. There probably is one, who knows, right? Mm-hmm. So she hears the unclicking of seatbelts. Quite frequently, a lot of people were unbuckling. And she hears this and literally stands up because she's right in front of me. Oh, hell no. And starts running back to people yelling at them.
Sit down! Sit down!
That's it. Yep, there you go. And then proceeds
y'all
to grab her
motherfuckers
stuff
better
first.
not be unbuckling your bitch ass seatbelts. I'll tell you what.
Not so much in that context, but that's what we were getting. Yeah.
No, I'm speaking Giants, but
yeah, but that was pretty close. I mean, like if she would have not gotten in trouble for that type of language, she probably would have said it. She literally grabbed her stuff and says, "I'm getting off this plane for," and literally did. Like I was like, "What did I just witness?" And you know, I think this last year since the hiatus, I experienced them losing my bags for the first time.
Oh, I remember that.
You went with me to get the bag.
I did go with you to get those bags.
The Greyhound of the air lost my bags.
Well, that's what you get for flying on a magic school bus. If that doesn't give it away who you were flying with, I mean,
that does not. I'm telling you, the more reason Southwest needs to lower their prices because I'm getting this kind of treatment.
Yeah.
And I'm a frequent flyer, as we all know.
He flies, man. He probably flies more than I sling dick, and that's saying something.
I guess you want to talk about your journey a little bit that you're on?
Yeah, sure. So, as I was saying before, I started taking the medicine again, and honestly, it was basically instant, which is crazy. I was not expecting that. I've been feeling better about myself and just life. I've been more motivated to do things even when I don't want to. I told myself I was going to start going to the gym on my days off of work. The reason I don't do them on my days I work is because I'm already walking 15,000 steps on average a day. So I feel that's at least a decent enough exercise. It's walking at least 8 miles. Even if it's not always, I mean, there's definitely times that it's an extensive, constant walking, but there is breaks in between it. But still, a body in motion tends to stay in motion, and walking 8 to 10 miles a day at work, I think even if there's breaks in between, that's still some good distance that you're walking. So on the days that I work, I don't go to the gym after, and I may change that down the road, depends how I feel. But on my days off, I wake up a half hour later. So I wake up at 5 a.m. because I have to wake up at 4:30 to be at work at 5 a.m. at my current job.
Dawn.
Yep, at the butt crack of dawn. And I basically I will wake up, I'll go to the gym, I'll come back. Sometimes I'll fucking doze off for another, the most I think I've dozed off for after was another hour. But I've noticed when I work out, it delays how long until I decide to eat breakfast, which is an interesting concept that, I mean, I'm sure there's some science behind it that I have no idea about.
Probably.
But
probably.
It was definitely interesting catching that, because when I eat dinner or when I eat breakfast on my work days, it's one of the first things I do when I walk in the door, which after I'm done recording the podcast here, I'm actually going to have to meal prep my breakfast for the week. And also I'm also gonna have to make dinner. I was thinking I'm gonna make cheeseburgers, but put some like a breakfast burger, some cheeseburger with some like an egg yolk in the middle.
Yeah,
that's kind of the idea I have right now, so that'll be interesting. But anyway, I've been doing that. I've been meal prepping. I'm trying to learn some new things to cook. This will be the first time I've ever made burgers, which
it's not hard to do.
No, it's
a little
not.
learning curve at first.
Yeah, so I'm not really overly concerned about that, but I want to start cooking more things. I've been trying more things. I got into writing, typing, but I've been writing. I've bought a few books that I want to start reading. The one that I've already started reading that I'm quite interested, I'm only about 20 pages in, but it's called The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker. And Shane actually recommended this. Shane recommended like 3 or 4 books. Shane's
a little more of a reader.
Yeah,
he's probably the most what is the word I'm looking, refined individual we have.
He was recommending me a few books, especially considering the career path that I'm going into, and this was one of them. Another one was On Combat, and then I know you recommended me one too.
Yeah, that was the Emotional Survival for Law Enforcement.
Mm-hmm. A lot of things I want to do. I need to start implementing a new physical hobby, whether that's, I want to start, I'm half tempted to just go buy a basketball and go to a park with a fucking court and just shoot hoops and hope maybe I can start finding some people to do pickup games with. But even if not, just fucking going and fucking shooting hoops, because I used to fucking love basketball as a kid, and just one of those.
Yeah, I still play basketball pretty well too. I mean, we talked about that.
Yeah, bro, I'll kick your fucking ass. Let's go.
Probably so.
I got what, a foot on you almost?
Yeah. You also don't have fibromyalgia that's kicking your ass, but that's another story.
Yeah, because I'm young, dumb, and full of cum. But
well, there's that.
Yeah, but no, I've been feeling really fucking good, and
yeah, I think you've seem very cheery, and you were telling me earlier today as I was coming to work, we were on the phone with each other. You've actually lost some significant weight.
I am down 10 pounds in about a month, which that's actually
progress.
Yeah, that's above the pace I was actually setting for myself. I was setting it at 8. I actually lost, I think, 6 of those in the last week, Yeah, no. I've just been sticking to a caloric deficit, and I'm gonna be strict on this probably until Florida. And then
Yep.
those couple of days in Florida, I'm gonna eat some Florida exclusive
Yeah,
food.
we'll probably freaking hit the Wawa. I assume that's going to happen.
We're gonna hit Wawa. We're gonna get pub subs. Their chicken tender sub is fucking delicious. We're gonna get Checkers. I know they have some here, but it's quite a drive.
Yeah, we
still.
very rare. We have a couple of 3 or 4 locations, but they're obscure to find. Trust me.
Yeah. So we'll get Checkers probably.
I've never had. I attempted to get it one time and couldn't get it.
Checkers is good. It's definitely one of my favorite fast food burgers. It's greasy, very greasy, but it's a really good taste. I do like their burgers. It's kind of, I would guess I would put it, it's almost like a greasier version of Sonic. I feel that's going to be a good time. I'm going to try, keyword try, to, we're going to try to go to one of my favorite comedy clubs.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. You know, you and I did that, and we got to meet. I don't know if I have to think about his name now. He's great. He did the Dodge commercials in the '90s and 2000s.
Daddy Hammy.
That would be him.
Yeah, what the fuck is his name?
You know, I can't think of his name. I subscribe to his podcast all the time.
Well, you should know.
I should know. I don't know why in the world I'm drawing a blank on his name. As we go on, I'll probably think about it. But
yeah, I say it's okay. I don't watch his shit. He was funny though. I say I've been to
John Reap.
There you go. Yep, that's right. I've been to very few comedy shows where somebody has bombed like completely. When we went to Vegas, the midliner fucking bombed pretty well. I think it was. But other than that, that's probably the worst I've ever
seen. Think he was doing okay. I don't think it was really. He wasn't really bombing. It was the mid one, the lady. She was horrible.
Yeah. Well, that just goes to show that women aren't funny. I'm
kidding. Trying to get us canceled?
I'm kidding.
Good Lord.
There are some.
Like we're gonna be Family Guy all again.
Well, there are some very funny women. There are a few of them in my life actually. So I say that joking, obviously. But in all seriousness, yeah, I know at some point we want to start doing comedy. I had shit written down, and I thought I had a solid like 10-15 minutes written down and got fucking.
I did too, and I lost my notes, man.
You lost your notes, and I deleted mine like an idiot because I'm like, oh, I'll never use these. So now I'm at a point where I kind of want to use them. So.
Yeah, we'll have to rewrite them. So I mean, we had some good stuff going on, and you know, I've actually talked about recently, like playing off each other. Which was something you and I had not discussed.
Yeah. I mean, we already play off each other when it comes to just talking and even just doing the podcast. I mean, usually.
Oh, we do. We do a lot. It's
how it works. Yeah, and usually we would go and just write some notes and have some bubbles about what we were going to talk about. We just fucking raw dogged it today.
Yeah, this is as raw as it's going to get. No unscripted. Like I don't know. I mean, we'll probably do some more like this. I can't say we won't, but most of the time we have a general basis of what we're doing. We have general topics. We usually try to stick in order that, and it kind of flows. And you know, after a 4-month hiatus, I think you and I could definitely come up with some topics to talk about, come back to, and things of that nature. So
there is an episode.
Also started.
I'll say there is an episode that I have yet to edit that I was supposed to post.
We do have the lost episode, as we'll call it now.
Yeah, and one day I'll release it. I'm not gonna say when.
We'll call it the lost.
Yeah,
we'll call it the lost episode.
I think it was another one with Slate, wasn't it?
I think so. I think Slate was the next. It was either Slate or Shane. I can't remember who the guest star was on that one. So yeah, I guess we'll roll with that. I think we're gonna stick with still doing the word of the week. Is that right?
Oh, we could definitely start doing the word of the week again.
I've got one for us. Actually, while we were sitting here rolling without a script, I actually came up with one. You don't like it, I think.
You're just signing a citation?
Oh, I didn't get into that story. She brought that up. You know, for all that have been listening long enough and long enough, everybody knows I'm in law enforcement, have been for 13 years. I actually had my very first refusal this week of someone refusing to sign a citation. And those that don't know, and it's very contrary to popular belief, at least in the state of Texas, I don't know about anywhere else, but you cannot just get away with that saying, I refuse to sign. That is a straight ticket to jail. And so at 13 years, I've had some people get very close. They've kind of teeter-tottered on they were going to sign or not. And then, you know, it got down to the nitty-gritty, hey, you're you're going to go to jail and this is going to be very bad. No, this individual went full force with it. I mean, I'm still shocked. I couldn't believe it.
So I'm going to go in kind of just real quick. Let's make this clear. You pulled him over for a minor traffic violation.
Correct.
And he had no warrants. He had
none.
What? A valid.
He had a valid driver's license. He had a valid driver's license. It wasn't suspended. He didn't have anything major that just would have stood out that he couldn't be driving.
He was getting a ticket for that minor traffic violation, and he was going to go on his way. Make that clear.
It would have been a simple, he signs, I go back. We're very quick. It's electronic, prints out on some printer paper. I hand him a pamphlet, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, you're out. Literally, most of my stops are anywhere from 6 to 10 minutes, depending on, if the computer's working right or not having any technical problems in the back. But it's a general sense that most of they're about as painless as about 10 minutes. And this literally turned into a 3-hour ordeal.
Yeah, because you have to tow his car.
Yep.
You have to take the trip to county.
Yep.
You have to go in and process. 30-minute drive. Yep, which is a 30-minute drive. You got to process his ass.
Yep.
And then
that takes time.
And then you also have to do paperwork on the arrest.
Yep, correct. So this turned into a 3-hour deal for a basic 10-minute situation, and it wasn't like one of these you sign or you go to jail. It was nothing like that. I know. I think Pinal County does a lot of stuff on that. Where I don't know whether or not they can refuse to sign in Pinal County. I've never really watched Fridays for Frank in depth long enough. I do know that there's some of the stuff is very similar to us. I can tell you that's some of the stuff I see with his episodes are very similar. However, as far as not signing, that's just not an option.
Yeah.
So it is a requirement. It actually is. A lot of people don't know. It's understood when you sign your driver's license that you understand that law. That's the number one thing you're signing for. It's not the sign that you're saying you're receiving your driver's license. No, it's understanding that if you are stopped by law enforcement and you're receiving a summons citation, then yeah, you must sign.
Yeah, and to make it clear, your signature is only saying that you promised to contact the court before this date.
Correct. It's a promise to appear only, not a plea of guilt. And as I explained to this individual several times, I think I went through about 6 minutes of explaining this back and forth of you can disagree with the ticket. You could sign mud on this citation. You could put duress. You could call yourself John Doe. I really don't care what you sign, but you're signing something. And it's you signing it. And it was a flat out refusal.
Yeah, because there's no legal definition of a signature. I could draw a dick and balls if I really wanted to.
Pretty much. And that would have been acceptable yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's just not what occurred. And
I'm sure you gave this guy plenty of opportunities. It's not like you just said, no, I'm not going to sign. Okay, goodbye. Because I know you don't want to deal with that.
No, and the thing is less paperwork on my behalf that I do, not that I want to arrest somebody, but at the stage in career that I'm at, I've done enough of that stuff over the years that I'm just like, if I didn't have to do it again today, it wouldn't be too soon. So, when you draw the hand of law enforcement, we're gonna act.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. And so, yeah, 13 years of doing this, I've never had a refusal. So I think you and I've had several discussions over the years. You've rode with me, and I've said I think it's going to happen one day, but I've yet to get there. That's when it happened. So it still shocks me a little bit. And I think you and I had this discussion. It was just like, really, like, come on, dude. So we're not doing another 4-month hiatus for everybody knowing, right? That's not the plan, right?
No, that's not the plan at all. I mean, as I've said, I feel really good about where I'm at in my life and being able to commit time to edit. And even if I don't want to, I feel like I'm in a position where I'll still do it. And then, of course, I can show you how to edit too. Right. I know that's something you said you were willing to do.
Yeah, I am interested in wanting to know. It's just like you said, it's time consuming, and I got to find the computer charger that my kids seem to have lost.
Well, when you have kids, everything grows legs and walks away. So,
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so we got the word of the week before we finish up. That'll be the last thing I think we're going to do. And also, thank God this time you hit the record button.
I didn't. I hit the record button.
We're repeating ourselves for a damn third time. Or
it's only the second time. I accidentally forgot to record my audio for the end. He had to go respond to a call. Yeah. We had to do a little bit of a...
Yeah, we had to come back and relapse into this. Plus, I'm just glad you didn't forget the audio and, your future sex tape or whatever it is.
Low blow, my guy, low blow. Anyway, Anyway, even though I already know what it is, you can say it again. What is the word of the week today?
No, it is poppycock.
Poppycock. I'll give you an example. Well,
go ahead.
What does it mean, first of all?
It means nonsense.
Nonsense. I love that word, by the way. Poppycock. We need to start using it more.
Yeah, we're going to start using it a little more.
I'll give you an example of how to use the word poppycock. Feel free to use it in your reports or whatever you decide to use it in. And an example would be the individual that Chris stopped that refused to sign for their ticket was poppycock.
Poppycock.
Poppycock. And
we promise next week's episode will not be poppycock.
There'll be some poppycock in it for sure, but that's okay.
It is us. Okay. You got me there.
Not to be confused with Poppy's cock, which is
hey now. Hey. Oh. Hey.
Which is something that
have we ever covered real quick? Have we ever covered the wand subject in our story here?
Yeah.
I think we have,
yeah,
right?
we did in the Aries episode, I'm pretty sure. But for those of you that haven't watched it, the Aries episode talks about our friend Juan.
It's an imaginary gay friend. Yeah, it's for recap, it's an imaginary gay friend that apparently is shared between all of us. Who knew?
Well, at least we're sharing something.
So we do, like I said, we do promise not to be on another hiatus. If we do, we'll warn you first. I know there was a lot of questions of what the hell happened, but life shit happens. We're back. Get to subscribing.
We ain't going nowhere.
Right. So just remember, wherever podcasts are listened to, whatever platform that is, Spotify, Apple, Podbean, whatever the hell we're on this week, I don't know. For all intents and purposes, we're on local cable TV, for all I know.
And I'd like to thank the sponsors of this video. Nobody. The sponsor of this video is Purple Heart Gaming. Join today at purpleheartgaming.com. Thank y'all for listening. It's been a great week. Yeah. I can't wait to do this again next week.
Next week, this time, this place. So be ready for another episode. And remember, like we talked about, maybe there's an Easter egg in for you because there is a lost episode.
And at some point, maybe we should make a goal for the lost episode. What do you think, Chris?
I think we should. What do you think? How many subscribers?
So I'll say it like this: when any one of our podcasts, whichever one, when we get one that hits 1,000 downloads on any platform, on the combination of the platforms, because I can see that through the dashboard on, what is it? I forget whatever we're using. Whatever distribution site I'm using, I forget. When I see 1,000 downloads for one of the episodes, we will officially release the hidden episode. I believe it's Slate. I haven't even.
I think it is too. I think it is Slate that came back because we talked about having Slate to help us with that one. I'm almost positive it was him.
Yeah. So
the only problem I see with that episode is if you let him edit it, he'll probably bleep himself out like an episode of Cops.
He doesn't swear that much.
No, I'm not talking about that. Just him sounding like Eeyore.
Oh. Sir, please step out of the vehicle with your hands outside. Slowly open the door.
And we thank you for listening. Bye-bye now.
Thank you for listening. We will see you next time here on the Purple Heart Gaming Podcast.